YouTube again. Hello YouTube. Welcome back. I wanted to make a video on my review of the film. That's the 2021 film of the movie Snake Eyes by Marvel. Uh, I watched it on Sunday, the week before last week. So it's a pretty good film. I I'm not very familiar with the Snake Eyes character to say. I'm more familiar with Batman, Spider-Man, uh the Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, the Flash. Not so familiar with Snake Eyes, but I watched the film and it's a pretty good film. It seems like. Well, to me, it's pretty good. Uh, the opening of the film starts out with the guy who is eventually going to be called Snake Eyes and his father going to what is a safe house will eventually the father ends up killed by this other guy who eventually is found out to be working for this terrorist organization. For a interesting thing I will get on later on here. But eventually his father gets shot after the boy goes off and runs to flee from this safe house, and the house is burning. And it cuts to a scene that is of the guy who's now known as Snake Eyes, because the origin of the guy's nickname is that the villain who killed his father, that's from this terrorist organization. That, for spoilers, is called Cobra. Yeah, this is an origin story to the character that is G.I Joe. So don't know a lot of things about G.I Joe, but yet again I didn't know that Marvel owned G.I Joe. So interesting. Uh, but you had what's it called there? Uh, so when his father dies, the kid who eventually becomes Snake Eyes, the villain ends up holding these two dice, and if he rolls on like Snake Eyes, the person dies. Or if he doesn't roll Snake Eyes, this villain's victim lives. Eventually, the villain rolls, and it ends up being Snake Eyes, and so the kid's son dies. So, that's a bit of a spoiler that I forgot to put earlier. But yeah, the kid grows up to become this Snake Eyes guy who's eventually fighting people pretty much to death in like these Mortal Kombat places. These sketchy kind of warehouses that are probably abandoned. Living the thug life. The underdog kind of life, and eventually is taken into hiding by a guy who eventually promises to find his dad's killer and bring him to him so he can exact his revenge, kill him for his father's death. Nice family vendetta to say. And the guy's working for the Japanese mafia, which is Yakuza. So the guy's hired to work at a fish plant that's actually smuggling, firearms and Uzis and weapons inside the gutted bodies of the fish there. And so, the guy's working there, and he has a couple of his other friends and another guy who will turn up as a major character into the making of the hero that is Snake Eyes, that will then be G.I. Joe. But yeah, then the boss of the Yakuza Mafia, the Japanese Mafia, ends up calling him in. Calling him and his buddies, Snake Eyes and his buddies in. And eventually, they find out that one of Snake Eyes' friends was really a spy for another clan of some kind. Not much is known at the time of this movie about the clan. It's not the KKK. It's a different Japanese clan there, traditional family group there, or house, I guess you could say, in hierarchy. Uh, but yeah, so eventually the Yakuza Mafia boss tries to kill the guy. They end up making Snake Eyes and his friend, end up making an escape. There's all this insane chasing and stuff, stunts, you gotta get the explosions and the stunts, to get all the audience to stay. Uh, which I understand that in an action film. It's not probably like, action was in the 80s or the 90s, but okay, great. But so they'll fleeing from the cruiser, and eventually they get away, and the guy who ends up saving Snake Eyes takes him to Tokyo, Japan, where he's pretty much taken in by the guy's family, who are a family of like ninjas to protect Japan and Japan's people from the villains like the Yakuza and stuff. And eventually, he gets in. He has to learn force through three challenges. One is for humility by fighting to take a bowl of water from the son of. He also has a bowl of water that, and he's duking it out at first with the guy who's the son of this family, this Hale. So, uh, and they don't really trust him so much because they notice that he doesn't have, like, an identity. Like, what's up with that? Something's been wiped clean. That doesn't sound, that sounds a bit odd. So they take him in, and he's, well, this first test is, where he's trying to take a cup of water to learn humility. And he's duking out first. Eventually he learns that, for humility you have to ask for the cup. And he eventually just passes the cup from his opponent, which is the hero of this Japanese ninja family. Uh, and who hands his cup to him, to Snake Eyes. And so Snake Eyes eventually passes because he has learned humility, that you cannot literally fight to take things. Like, you literally have to sacrifice your ego, which is one of the things in the quote from one of the three masters. The second one is to show him his fear, and he eventually takes the test there. This is comes after when he's trying to he goes forced to ask these. He is eventually found out to be an agent of the Yakuza, who eventually Snake Eyes does escape through by taking one of the motorbikes there to a hideout of the Yakuza, and he tells him about the family that he's infiltrated, the Japanese ninja family. And the guy asks about, the cruiser guy wants him to actually get this treasure of file, treasure of the sun, or jewel of the sun, or whatever. It's like this jewel that this Japanese goddess, that actually is the goddess that the Japanese emperors are supposed to be descended from Japanese mythology. Uh, who fell, and she chose to fell to earth, and she chose to see which family was the chosen family to protect Japan. And this ninja family wins the honor of holding this treasure that will give them complete power. Only if they use it for good. So it's like that. If you do something evil with this, like if Hitler gets a hold of this, bad things happen. This thing is horribly powerful that if it's only for good, it can be used properly. If not, and say hello to infinitely long fourth Reich. Well, in the case of this movie's villains, the Yakuza having complete power of the world, and eventually was found out to be the Cobra terrorist group. So in one of the other scenes is that the guy who's Snake Eyes and the family are trying to fight off and kill off a couple of the Yakuza guys. They end up stumbling upon the Cobra thing, Cobra telescope that the Yakuza are working for, and they consult one of their uh, secret agents there that comes to help and give them information about the group and to know what's up, But back to what I was saying about the second test there that Snake Eyes has to go through is about to show him what his fear is, which is his dad dying and the guy that killed him getting away. And eventually, yeah, they It's a pretty interesting one. I'm not gonna give so many spoilers, but it gets a little bit magical and surreal. But no, the next scene later on with this infiltrating well, secret agent like a mole there. That's this woman, pretty interesting woman there. Uh, she eventually Snake Eyes does come across the Cruiser boss again, because she's gotten more information now about where this jewel, this treasure of the sun that the ninja family of Japan has, that's literally located in like a temple or shrine that looks like a shogun temple of some kind. Uh, but the Cruiser box eventually tells Snake Eyes, well, we found the guy, because Snake Eyes eventually doesn't want to be a part of the Yakuza anymore. He's like, this family is very good. I want out. I've, kind of had a change of heart. And the Yakuza guy holds him, tries a nice enough tactic by saying, hey, we found the guy that killed your father. You just give us this treasure, and we'll hand your father's killer over. You can kill him, and you can leave. And yeah, like that's just going to happen with, any evil person that's manipulative. Yeah, good luck. Yeah. So eventually, the guy, Snake Eyes, does get a hold of the breaks into the thing, which is found out eventually. After all, they find out that uh, Snake Eyes has been working for the Yakuza and how he's ashamed. Eventually, gets a hold of the blood from after making a blood pack of the actual hair of this family, because this is the only thing that can open up the lock to the treasure of the sun. And so they have that. So ends up asking the guy for the blood there he ends up well, he doesn't ask so much. He ends up getting a hold of it after making a blood pact, slicing his hand with a sword that he was given, that Snake Eyes was given from the hair of the ninja family. The ninja family's guy slices his hand. They make a blood pact, take hands, promise to be buddy buddies, but eventually Snake Eyes wipes the Japanese ninja family's hair's blood on this cloth, and he uses that to get a hold of the jewel, which he gives back to the Japanese Yakuza mafia there, who, yeah, also has this woman from Koba. And so the Yakuza guys show who uh, tells Snake Eyes that, hey, we'll give you your father, killer there, and so they take him to what looks like a really novelty, little niche, little old school American looking, probably typical, stereotypical looking American ball in like, the Midwest or Kansas, whatever though. Uh, it has the guy, who is his father's killer, uh, chained up to a jail. But eventually, Snake Eyes finds out from his father's killer that the guy was working for Cobra after Snake Eyes asks him who Cobra is. And his father's killer tells him, well, what, after Snake Eyes asks, what did my dad had to do with with the Cobra group? And his father's killer tells him, this is because, his father was working for this group that infiltrated, that he was eventually we find out as a G.I. Joe, a Joe, pretty much. So eventually Snake Eyes lets his father's killer go, and I am probably about to make a part 2 to this review now. So that's great. That's okay. Okay. To be continued. Uh, like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell. Comment. Share these videos so I can get 100,000 subscribers. And 400,000 public watch hours and get monetized. Would be not great.